right, everybody, we are back. Fresh Takes Podcast, Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo. Crops for me, as always, man, myth, guy who appears to think that it's like 32 degrees outside. Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing? You look sharp. Gotta say, you look sharp.
Yep.
But you look like you're possibly a little bit toasty.
Yes, I appreciate you guys waiting around for me here on the pod. It's definitely different temperature than it was last week. But it is a big podcast this week because, Paul, I don't know if you realize, we just hit our 3 years of this podcast on Finger Legs 1.
We did.
I believe last week. We didn't make a big deal of it because who really makes a big deal of the 3rd year anniversary,
And we kind of forgot.
There's the 1 year anniversary, huge deal. 2, I get it. But the 3rd, who cares? 3rd, it's just another year.
But 3 is for Dale.
Yes, that is true. Yes. This is a NASCAR podcast every once in a while. It might be one today. I don't want to spoil.
Or if people can read.
3 years now.
Yeah.
2018. Now it's 2021. Lots have changed. We're talking about, the Suns. I don't think we were talking about the Suns 3 years.
You attempted to make a very seamless segue, and I give you credit.
All right, yeah, the Suns definitely weren't really of a factor 3 years ago when we started this.
No.
So things.
We were wondering if Devin Booker was for real.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, what was it? 3 years ago, because the editor, the way it works on our software, every time it pops up. When we go in to make the edits, obviously, shows the first episode of what our topics were and everything, and U.S. Open at Shinnecock.
Yep.
Who won? Who was going for the Triple Crown that year? Who got the Triple Crown in the horse racing? Justified. We had a rat beef of the week.
Yeah, that was the only week.
Maybe 2.
Syracuse only had one Boeheim on their team at that time.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point.
Buddy was a young kid,
But he was a senior in high school. Going to be a senior in high school.
Yeah. Goes fast.
Anyway.
Goes fast.
NBA playoffs, possibly really one of the most contentious stories in sports right now. The MLB, what we're calling the sticky stuff on this part.
I like what you did there.
But foreign substances with pitchers, I got many opinions on this. I'm sure you do as well, Nick. It's something that we haven't really discussed.
Nope.
Together when we're hanging out and everything, but I'm guessing this will probably be. I don't know. I think we'll probably agree on some stuff and disagree on other stuff with this, but. And then NASCAR had said it's pretty much de facto halfway point through the season. So
we still have a big question with NASCAR. Will Nick make it to Watkins Glen?
I don't think he's going to this year, but
I've heard rumors the paper sends you down there once in a while.
Well, hopefully for your sake of job-wise, you do. I'm going to be the whole weekend down there. I'm not making the trip back to Seneca Falls.
Really?
So
is that official?
We're gonna.
Can you confirm?
Me and Nick and Maggie. We got an Airbnb, so we're good.
Really confirmed.
Yep. Confirmed.
Wow, that is breaking.
If not, I'm pretty much out $200 via PayPal and Airbnb.
How many more races are you trying to hit this year? How many have you hit?
I think that one. I've only been to Richmond.
Yeah.
I think it's only looking like that in the Glen for now. Never say never, but this is why everything kind of is shaking out for the rest of the year. There is, I will say this. There's like a weird extreme outside chance I get to go to Darlington for the Southern 500 Labor Day weekend.
Not coming to St. Anthony's Festival.
I'll be down that way anyway that weekend, more than likely, and I'll be going to Charlotte that week for that weekend, the long weekend. Darlington's only like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive away, I guess. So if things don't pan out for what the initial plan is, I may scoot down to Darlington. But at the moment, it seems like Richmond and the Glen. I wanted to do other stuff this year, but other stuff's coming away. Like let's go into Pittsburgh, for instance.
Was that 4 weeks now?
Pretty much. We're a month away. Yeah. I mean, we technically speaking, this would be departure eve for us. Because we would be leaving Friday the 16th, right?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, how about that?
So we're a month away from departure eve.
Departure eve.
As you enjoy saying many things about the eves.
I'm a big eve guy.
So, yeah, looking forward to obviously different stuff this summer anyway. As much as I'd like to maybe say get to Pocono, and really the closest ones at this point for me that I haven't been to yet, Pocono, New Hampshire. I guess you could probably make the case for Michigan. Michigan, I think, is about an 8-hour drive, give or take. Kind of like...
no race near Minnesota. Or where's your family? Milwaukee.
Well, this year, actually, the Cup Series for the first time since the 50s going racing in the state of Wisconsin.
Really? You going?
At Road America. I will not be, as much as I'd like to be, July 4th weekend. My first racing experience in Wisconsin's got to be Slinger. It's a short track. We don't have to dive too much into it, obviously, but...
Speaking of your plans, what are you doing next week? It's your birthday.
I'm going to Cleveland, barring some major...
Can you confirm that?
Yes.
Wow, look at this guy. I'll get his whole summer schedule ready.
Leaving right after work Friday. But
there you go.
I'm going to Cleveland next weekend.
Any games?
No, everybody's out of town, but, it's more... It helps, obviously, having people, who live there and everything, and time to get out of town for a couple of days. Nice to do that every now and then, so... Yeah. Nobody's in town. No, Cleveland's out of town that day. Who knows though? Who knows what we might end up doing? As long as I'm
sure Nick Chubb's out there running in the field. Go watch him. You did bring up how we have everything planned out. Probably only a couple more weeks, guys, of kind of maybe going every week here until we take every other week off. Or every other week with the podcast as we get closer to the summer here. Obviously, we kind of try and give you guys a little bit of a fair warning to the regulars out there. Obviously, there's just not a ton to talk about in the summer usually overall. Trust me, if it's up to me and Nick, we'd literally discuss baseball every freaking week if we could, but it would just bore you guys to death. So and admittedly, once you get into like that end of July, beginning of August stretch in baseball, I mean, outside the trade deadline at that point, it gets pretty dead pretty quick for about a month. Mm-hmm. So, we're like I said, we're probably about really 2 weeks away from probably going every other week, depending upon how really the NBA playoffs kind of shake out at this point. But yeah, that being said, let's just get right into it at this point. NBA playoffs. This has been to me. Before I go to like the single shots here, this is like the first playoff, like when we get to the conference semis, where it's like, oh, we still have like we have 3 going, but one's already just completely done. I don't recent memory, I can't think of anything quite like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's probably happened. Yeah, I mean, to have them all 2-2 and then the other one just done.
Yeah,
kind of surprised.
Yeah. That being said, obviously, tight series and a sweep. The story of the NBA playoffs at the moment. The Suns completely blow by the Nuggets. We'll get into that. But the other series, Nets, Bucks, Clippers, Jazz, and the Sixers, Hawks, all locked in tight series, 2-2s all across the board. Going to be fun down the stretch if you like watching really good basketball players do some pretty good basketball things. I say that it's a completely different discussion, how I kind of feel about stuff like that. Big news, obviously, with Kyrie probably being out the rest of the series, at least the way it sounds, but James Harden back in for the Nets. And things are getting chippy in other series. Hawks and Sixers have gotten chippy. Kind of makes you wonder at this point, maybe it's a little bit of the Hawks playing with an edge. Nothing wrong with that. But obviously the things that happened in that next series now transpiring, not obviously completely different, but things are spilled over to the Sixers series with Embiid. It's been interesting on the East side. West side, like I said, obviously you got the Suns, Nuggets completely being a blowout sweep for Phoenix, knocking out Nikola Jokic, the MVP. But then you got the Clippers, Jazz in a tight series that I think a lot of people kind of wrote the Clippers off on initially off the bat, myself included to a degree. So it's been interesting so far. now both of our teams are officially out of the playoffs, Nick. Now, what are kind of your thoughts now watching this? Because like I said, it's kind of like an interesting thing thinking back on recent memory. Don't think we've kind of had a situation where one's completely done, but we still got the other three going at a fairly high dramatic pitch.
What is the score of this Nets game before I talk?
That's
here?
a good question. You can look it up. I'll filibuster for a moment.
It is.
Oh.
Ooh,
got it right away.
It's a good score.
Okay, we'll go to
not for one of the Russo brothers.
Oh, I love hearing that then.
Not for one of it. It is 49-35.
Ooh.
It was just 33. 49-35, 4:41 to go before halftime. The Bucks are beating the Nets. Well, first of all, that call on Jokic was terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible. He's clearly going for...
I get calling probably the flagrant one.
Yes.
In that.
Yeah, but not a flagrant
But
two.
man, I don't think you eject him. Now, like I said, there was intent there to a degree, but I don't think it was flagrant two intent. And by the way, underrated part of that skirmish, that whole deal, is Booker coming up and wanting that smoke from Jokic until Jokic finally actually turned and kind of walked at him, and he kind of was like, nah.
Yeah.
I guess Jokic's brothers are right there, and if you're watching this live, you can do this live. Go ahead and Google search Nikola Jokic brothers. If not, if you're tuning in post live and you're watching it as a podcast or listening to a normal podcast, you can pause it right now and go ahead and just Google search Nikola Jokic's brothers. And they're sitting courtside, and you'd understand why Serbia is just built different.
Mm-hmm. And if you see Kristaps Porzingis' brothers, you have searched wrong.
Yes.
Do not look at them. But, this playoffs, it sucks to see another team down 3-0, not get it done. That stat just keeps going up and up and up, or worse and worse and worse for those teams that are down 3-0. But, these 2-2 series, man, they're tight, I think it really comes down, obviously, if the Bucks can get this win tonight, that would mean they would be the first road team to win. It's weird to see the Clippers now in this home and home after they went the whole series until the last game against the Mavericks before a home team won a game. And now here they are with the Jazz. They got to beat Utah at Utah, which is tough to do. As long as Utah holds the home court, they'll win that series. But, Suns are resting. The Hawks got a big win. It looked like the Hawks were not going to even compete against the Sixers. Now they got a big win, and now it's back to a best of three. They have to win. Obviously, they have to win at least one at Philadelphia. It's just not crazy. If the Cowboys can win at Philadelphia Eagles, I think the Hawks can win. These are tight series, just extending the playoffs a little bit longer. I think if the Bucks win this series against the Nets, they're the favorites to win the NBA championship. What are your thoughts on that? The Bucks, the favorites. I think they're the favorites right now.
I don't know if I necessarily disagree.
I was high on the Clippers. I think I'm high on the Clippers.
I don't know. If that Nuggets-Suns series went even like an extra day longer, I think I'd be all over the Suns. I just hate in any playoff, especially it's probably more so in hockey where I don't like it. But even in the NBA too, I don't like having that extended layoff once you're in the playoffs. Especially if you're on a roll. Yeah. Like I said, if this was even if the Nuggets extended it like a game, so you're looking at probably 3 extra days for Phoenix there. I think I'd be all over Phoenix at this point. Just the way they're playing, it's absurd. That being said, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think the Bucks, if they were to get by the Nets, are for sure the title favorites. They're the favorites in the clubhouse. To me, I think a lot of it depends coming out of this Clippers-Jazz series, though. I think whoever gets out of there is more than likely, in my mind, who I'll put as the favorite out of the West.
Really?
Out of principle. It's because like I just said, Phoenix is going to be more than likely off for the better part of a week at least, give or take. Obviously, it's 2-2, so no matter who wins tonight out of that game, Jazz Clippers, there's going to be a 2-day layoff and then a game. So we're at 3 days, so that puts us at Friday. They last played Sunday. So that's 5 days alone right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they're looking at about like an 8 to 9 day layoff. Now, I'm not saying, going all 7 is the preferred option for a team, because I don't think that's the case either. But personally, I'd rather have the team that's kept going over the course of 7 days than a team who's been off for 7 days at this stage.
It's very interesting,
I think if the Jazz come out of the series, I'd put the Jazz as probably the title favorites.
You like the Jazz?
Yeah.
Do you like the Sixers?
No.
I don't either.
Not when in theory one of your two options can't shoot. And it's got to be the biggest detriment still to Ben Simmons' game is that they just can't shoot. That's what the Hawks are doing it right now. You can let him come within like 15 foot of the bucket, and then you can get up on him. Really, even you could probably make the case you can probably wait until he gets to about the free throw line, that 10-foot-ish range, 10 to 12-foot range, and then you can get up on him. So, I have a lot of problems with the Ben Simmons thing still, but the Sixers are going to cause problems just based on their length alone, no matter who they kind of end up with, because when your three best guys being Embiid, Simmons, and Tobias Harris, they're all big, lanky kind of guys. So, but each really are only excelling in one thing each, for the most part. So, so the short answer to that long answer is I think it's pretty much a toss-up.
But shout out Chris Paul. He's doing a great job.
About time.
Yes. He definitely – I think he's the most valuable player on that team.
Ooh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I have an interesting case who I would, at least right now.
You got Booker.
Nope.
You got Payne.
Nope.
Ayton.
Nope.
You got Frank Kaminsky?
No, not Frank the Tank.
No, who is it?
Jay Crowder.
Really?
Yep. He's the lifeline defensively on that team. Offensively, he's a little bit off right now, but look at the commotions he's causing in all these series, man.
He's been on a lot of good teams.
He has. He does have a winning pedigree with him. Like, you have to admit that he does have a winning pedigree to him. So, and all started back in his days at
Marquette.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
I know my college basketball.
Hey, shout out the old Big East.
Yeah, that was one of the last years, I believe. Could have been.
Yeah. He probably graduated right with that last year, 2012/13.
I'm getting my ear. Oh, 2012.
Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah. So.
But we need to talk about the Nets.
Yeah.
Like, this could be it. This would be the last time we ever be talking about the Nets, even in contention for the championship.
I love it. What are we thinking?
What's your brother? How's your brother feeling?
I don't know. He's at work.
Like, yes. Did you see him yesterday?
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you talk Nets?
No.
When's the last time you heard about the Nets with him?
When did they last play? They last played. Was it Sunday? Sunday
Yes.
afternoon. Yeah, then. And I was down.
After the game?
No. I was downstairs and I heard him.
After the game?
No, during and after.
Yeah.
By the time we got home and everything from baseball, yeah.
Does he seem nervous?
No, I mean, he just kind of was yelling like he usually yells. But
now, is Pat going to be one of those guys I'm not hating on our
I know
top
exactly
guest.
how it's going to go for him. I'm not going to say it on air because I need to save it for my own repertoire at home. But, I know exactly how it's going to go.
I don't want to hate on our big guest, our best guest.
Our main guest co-host.
Yeah.
Our Kendrick Perkins.
But is he going to be one of those guys that's going to be blaming injuries? 100%?
I'm not going to confirm or deny.
I'm
just telling you what I think. And that's what I think he's going to do. When he was saying that Lakers fans couldn't be the ones saying that. So, and he was the one saying the Nuggets fans couldn't say that either. So,
I think I saw something today that Stephen A. Smith said Kevin Durant's the best player in New York history.
Stop.
I thought I saw something like that. I could be wrong.
No way.
I think I saw something like that. Let me see.
He's been here for 3 minutes.
It was a video. I didn't watch it, but I think he said he crowned Durant.
Oh my gosh.
Stephen A. KD. I mean, obviously it's a championship. It's a boss, right? If they don't win the championship, they don't win.
Yeah. The way their fans are acting, yes. I don't care what they say at that point, but the way they're acting, it is.
Kyrie's going to be out a while.
He's going to be out at least the series. I think they're being pretty generous with that.
Yeah, that was bad. I'm not getting a lot of service right now, but yeah,
I mean, the disrespect to Pat Ewing, Dave DeBusschere, Jerry Lucas, Walt Clyde the Glide Frazier.
It might be New York right now.
Willis Reed.
I have to look that up. You guys can look it up. Stephen A. Smith said something about KD.
Charles Oakley.
Yeah, I know.
Amare Stoudemire.
What's KD played?
Ellen Houston.
What's he played? 40 games?
I don't know. Either way.
I'm not the biggest Nets guy because, they're just the Mets and the Jets of New York. But, definitely not upset that they could eventually get eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks because the Milwaukee Bucks need to win because Pat Connaughton needs to be an NBA champion. We need to see it. As much as I would love to see Monty Williams be an NBA champion, Pat Connaughton needs to be. You know what? Monty Williams, I'm rooting for the Suns and the Bucks. We need Monty Williams and Pat Connaughton in the NBA Finals. We need it. We need Notre Dame. Notre Dame baseball needs some pitching, though. They need some pitching. You going to be watching College World Series? Paul?
Oh, am I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who you got? Vanderbilt?
Hard to go against the Vandy boys.
Notre Dame needs some pitching.
Notre Dame lost.
Yeah, they need pitching.
That dude, I don't know who this dude is.
You see that home
He's
run?
got that Russian, Eastern European name going on. But holy crap, I've never seen a ball just get tanked like that.
That home run there? Yeah.
Whoo! I was hyped.
I think MLB needs to go to the metal bats, aluminum bats.
No.
One game.
The All-Star game. Anyway, nice transition, Nick. I'm proud of you. We're getting better at these.
I felt like that was a terrible transition, but
speaking of terrible transitions, the MLB is cracking down on the 4 and 7.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Overreaction or too little, too late? It's an overreaction.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's a little too late.
I don't necessarily disagree with that stance, but I'll let you go first.
I think they've been doing this for a while now.
They've been doing this since literally baseball was probably invented.
Yes. My dad says this all the time. It's not about, Houston cheated to hit. They also cheated to pitch.
Yep.
And they cheated all around. And, it's not, it is something, my source here is my dad. He's bringing up all these points, and I'm just going to say them. But he's just saying how, Verlander all of a sudden became not washed.
Yep.
And, Garrett Cole, as he was dominating with the Astros. Not saying that he's not done great. He's a good pitcher with the Yankees. But, there was some fishy stuff going on there. Colin McHugh, where's he at? Where's McCullers at? They're not cheating anymore. That's why.
Is it McCullers hurt?
I don't know, but Houston's not the same. But they got himself a World Series. The commissioner didn't take it away for I don't know what reason. But it's something. Didn't DeGrom get caught with this too?
No, DeGrom's like one of the ones that hasn't. But that's sinking for a hot second.
I don't know. It's a little fishy that he's that good. But Garrett Cole, definitely a cheater. Garrett Cole is a cheater. He never cheated with the Pirates because we don't cheat with the Pirates. We're Saints over here. I don't know, Paul. This is not good for the game.
It's not good in the fact that we have, in my opinion, another case of Manfred just not understanding the game of baseball at all. Now, look, I'm not saying this is right. This is wrong, what pitchers are doing, but at the same token, they've been doing this for years. There have been rules on the book, effectively. But it's also been a rule that as long as you don't make it blatantly obvious, they're not going to stop you. Because not everybody. It's kind of like when we say, oh, well, colleges always play athletes, the really good ones. Dukes, UNCs, Notre Dames, USCs, Not everybody, but there's a decent percentage. Odds are more than likely on everyone's favorite baseball team, they have at least one pitcher doctoring the ball. To some degree. I just think that the way it is, 10-game suspension off the bat, or 10-day suspension, rather, right off the bat.
With pay, that's interesting.
But if you get caught a second time, there's no set time limit. It's just, however long we see fit. So you mean to tell me it's going to be like 2 months, 2 years, like what? And you bring up the best point of all. It's someone that Carlos Rondon said from the White Sox today is, we have a commissioner who said to the Astros, what you did effectively is perfectly fine. Literally caught cheating. Nobody has been this year caught with the foreign substance. I don't think anybody was even caught last year with a foreign substance. But man, if we catch you doing this, 10 games automatically on the block. Right? Second, we don't know how long, but you'll be gone. That's where I have the problem with this. That's where I think it's their overreaction. And all it is just Manfred doing a political stunt, not understanding the game. Like I said, it's wrong, don't get me wrong, but let me tell you this, and this is me. Look, I'm not a pitcher. Nick will back up on this one that I was not a pitcher even remotely back in the day. But in coaching, you do have to, especially in small areas like we are here, you have to do things you're not comfortable with. And I can tell you this, anytime I threw a sim game to a group of kids, which happened a handful of times the year I was a full-time coach, full-time coaching, trust me, I had pine tar in my glove. Like, I was trying to find ways that would help myself out. Like, it's like I don't understand what's going on here. I used to call Clay Buchholz the walking human can of Spam. Like, dude would walk out and just covered in definitely not sweat. I mean,
what's the second punishment?
Well, that's the thing. The second punishment is you're suspended, but it's not a set base of time. It's however long they just kind of feel. Like, and that's the frustrating part of this is Manfred in this does not have a grip again on what to really do. And now this is the thing, going back in history. Are we going to, if it comes down to find out somehow that, Greg Maddux, the most artful pitcher perhaps ever, was doctoring the ball, was using foreign substances. What happens to that legacy? People will say it's gone. Personally, I don't think so. I'm of the thinking that, even though Bonds didn't do steroids, but did do steroids, that he didn't do anything wrong in the it's just it's maddening. It's maddening as a baseball fan where there's such hypocrisy and double standards and a general not knowing what the hell to do from the guy running the league. That I don't know. This year for baseball so far has been great from like a marketing the game perspective. Sure, averages are down still. Sure, whatever. But you want to know what still is really good? That young star thing that you've been betting on in Fernando Tatis Jr. is living up to that hype. Right? One of those giant aces you've been touting in New York is doing the things that you said he's doing. But instead, now the main headline is going to be from this year more than likely, barring in my mind some sort of miracle play-wise, is going to be about foreign substances. It's going to be about spider tack in the glove. It's going to be about pine tar on an arm. It's going to be about rosin and baby oil on the brim of your hat. You know? And now about the cool things going on. It's infuriating. Personally, to me, it's just infuriating. Because instead of growing the game like Manfred says he wants to do, all he's doing is just shooting it in the foot, in my mind.
What do they do? How do they get rid of this guy?
I mean, at this point, I hope, and it sounds awful saying this, but you need to hope that he's got, just stuff buried into the closet.
When's his deal end?
It's not ideal. I don't think in baseball I don't think it's contract like it is in the NFL.
I thought they had to negotiate.
Maybe they do, but like the owners are going to want to keep him in. The owners love having that guy. You kidding me? He was the labor negotiator for the MLB. This guy has been against players his whole career in the MLB, man. This guy is a lawyer through and through. That definition of toes the line for the bad guys, pretty much.
It's just not good.
This was the guy opposite of who, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, it makes you one of those like, damn, I really wish we had Bud Selig back. This is where, and I know you're probably going to disagree with me on this, but this is where I really hope somehow Theo Epstein becomes commissioner for about 5 years just to get rid of Manfred.
But make it better.
I mean, and that's part that's infuriating, right? Because like I said, and it's not just you have those major storylines, but like you actually have storylines developing around the league that now will just definitely not get the exposure they deserve. You know, for instance, I know what you're going to say, but you have something brewing, in my opinion, with, for instance, the Pirates with that young core that they got that is now going to be overshadowed, right? You have some cool things going on in Cincinnati with Castellanos and Winker and that outfield with Naquin that are just putting up collective numbers that are crazy, but now it's probably going to get overshadowed by this. So, I mean, it's just infuriating. And like I said, it's not, trust me, I get it. I know that it's illegal, but at the same token, I don't know if it's maybe specifically this high, but it's one of the safer numbers I'm willing to go to. If 50% of the pitchers are probably doing this, then what's the point? You're really about this. You're really about to, hypothetically here, in a span of a week, you could be suspending Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer. I'm trying to think of other big names like Darvish.
DeGrom.
Hypothetically here, DeGrom, right? Hypothetically. Kershaw, Bumgarner, like you name it. You could just be suspending them all in a week, hypothetically here. How dumb is that, too? Like, you really think at the same token, back when they first started doing steroid testing, they were like, yeah, hey, I have an idea. Let's suspend Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, all these guys in the same span of a week, right, when they test positive. You know how dumb that sounds?
Imagine if they did.
It's you want to know what's a lot like? It's a lot like the Joker. It's a lot like Jokic getting ejected in that game. You just can't do it.
You think how dumb it is? I would not be surprised if he did it.
Oh, he would. He would be the commissioner that would do it.
I bet you it could be like it'd be some big list, and it'd be just everyone suspended for 10 games.
He's that guy in the corner, right? He's that guy in the corner. Did you watch Recess at all growing up? The show on Disney, Recess.
I did not.
Okay. There was a character, I forget his name. I want to say it's something like Lyle or some shit like that. And he would just sit in the corner scheming like plots to take down the kids like this in the corner. Like a little
Manfred.
snake guy. That's Manfred. That's Manfred.
You gotta remember your boy Levitar there when he went at it with Manfred. That was like years ago now.
Yeah, I mean that's pushing at least 5.
Yeah, so it's been bad for a while now.
God, it just sucks.
There's no change in it. So, it's just baseball's not in a good state right now, and
the part that sucks, right, is like the people who do love it. Like we still love it. Like we aren't gonna run away from it. But man, like there are certain days where I mean, I was kind of tuned on MLB Network and maybe not watch a specific game at this point. Like, I don't know.
It's terrible.
God save the Queen.
Yeah, and they need to do something with these averages. They're just terrible.
Well, that just goes back to something I said, 2 weeks ago? It's just, fundamentally awful at bats.
It's
a lot like
250 is good.
It's a lot like the NBA right now in a sense. Don't get me wrong. It's probably collectively the best batch of MLB players ever still when you think about it. Right? Just like how in the NBA it's probably the best batch of NBA players ever when you think about it. But somehow the play is just not the best that it has ever been. And oddly, both probably were in the 90s. So,
I mean, it's both those leagues. They were just way better back in the day. There's too many threes, too many home runs.
It's not so much threes in the NBA. Sorry, not to get too off track, I guess. Not so much too much threes. It's just the amount of ISO ball. I literally call it AAU style ball. At least in the NBA, where it's all about me, and not the team. Not that I care. I'm all for the empowerment and stuff like that, but it's okay to take that extra pass if you have it. I mean, in the MLB, the reason why that 2015 Royals are going to stand out like a sore thumb when you think about it, just by the way they got to the World Series and won the World Series. Mm-hmm. Because, it was literally definition small ball, small ball, small ball.
We don't talk about the 2015 playoffs in here.
I apologize, but you know what I mean, though.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Hey, nothing you do. It's terrible to see. Mm-hmm. It's a bad commissioner. Is he the worst commissioner?
I mean, I think so. I mean, yeah.
People probably won't like my opinion, but I think Roger Goodell is the best commissioner. That's my opinion. I think he does the best job.
I mean, it's either him.
You don't like my opinion?
No, it's either him or Silver.
I think Goodell does the best job.
The issue with Goodell is he shot himself so much in the foot there off the bat. Well, not even so much off the bat, but his midway point between now and when he started his tenure, that he's had a really long time to try and dig himself out of the hole, and Zoe kind of just begun doing that. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'd probably go Silver, Goodell, Bettman, Manfred.
Dana White.
Oh God, no. All right. Let's wrap it up with a little NASCAR talk now.
Yeah, who's the NASCAR commissioner?
Well, it's Jim France is the chairman, as they call it.
Oh, they're big time chairman.
But raise your hand if you thought Kyle Larson would be the dominant driver so far this year. No, you're lying.
I have my hand up.
You're lying over there. 3 wins. 9 top 5s, but still second in the points. Denny Hamlin been the most consistent driver overall this year so far. But Larson's been the most dominating. He's led 50% of the laps at 1.5-mile tracks, which take up the bulk of NASCAR schedule.
I've heard he's done good.
He's doing pretty good. My guy Bubba sitting 21st in the points with the new team, but he's finally getting momentum going, so I'm happy for that.
What's his top finish this year?
13th.
Come on, where's the top 10?
He's had some bad strategy calls from the box, admittedly.
Got to get rid of that crew chief.
Yeah. But good news for him, his dog will be on his car this week at Nashville.
His dog's going to be riding with him?
Yes, his dog will actually be
in his head out the window.
Oh, God. Oh, I don't know how that would look. But Anyway.
That would be cool. Someone needs to do that.
Just going quick to the other series really quick. Austin Cindric and AJ Allmendinger are the best two guys in the Xfinity Series, but Cindric just dominating. He's the leader in the clubhouse to get that flagship Penske ride next year, the number 2 car, with Keselowski allegedly going over to a driver ownership role with Roush Fenway Racing.
Really?
So, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And then in the Truck Series, John Hunter Nemechek, who took what people thought would be a step back to bet on himself in the Truck Series with Kyle Busch Motorsports, absolutely smoking the competition this year. 4 wins, 7 top 5s. He's only finished outside the top 5 once so far in the Truck Series.
How's Michael McDowell been doing?
Not bad. Still probably his best year on record so far, but he is sitting 16th in the points. Obviously, he's locked in the playoffs, but he's in 16th in the points. Did get a top 5, a second one on the year at Circuit of the Americas a few weeks ago. So, got that going. And then the other major news in NASCAR, officially, the next gen car rolling out in 2022. Looking forward to that. Hopefully putting more in the driver's hands again as opposed to where it's been the past few years. So, been an interesting year so far, Nick. Obviously, we kind of discussed a little bit, kind of like at the top of the show, but Fox kind of taught this is now Fox's coverage of the season has ended. It's now NBC's turn. Fox touted this as the greatest season ever. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's been pretty damn good so far overall. A lot of thrills, a lot of spills. But overall, the racing, I can't complain. I think it's because, we kind of, at least for the diehards, we know kind of like how this aero package and this style car is going to run. So you're just trying to find the positives where you can. And I think a lot of it has to do with how bright the future is of the sport, kind of in a sense at the moment. Obviously, next-gen car coming in next year. But, for instance, you have obviously Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan's team that Bubba drives for. They're allegedly probably expanding to a second car next year. Trackhouse, which owns Daniel Suarez's car, that's Justin Marks, who, oh, by the way, the co-owner, and that's Pitbull. And by the way, that team is technically based out of Nashville, Tennessee, is allegedly getting some backing to run a second car next year as well. Oh, and by the way, you heard of Dale Earnhardt Jr., right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's apparently a pretty solidified rumor that he might be going Cup racing next year with his own team. Not him driving, but he'll bring one of his teams up from the Xfinity Series to run a Cup next year.
Really?
So,
a
lot of stuff happening at the midway point behind the scenes.
Can you explain to the fans your Blaney Rossi bet that you made?
Oh, God, that one awful bet that backfired 20 laps into the Indy 500.
Explain what happened.
Wreck on pit road in the Indy 500. Rossi was in decent shape, pit strategy-wise, literally 30 laps in. Until that caution happened and it literally tanked his whole race. So that bet was out the window. Right off the bat. But you want to know how it was doomed from the start? Blaney never got north of 10th in the Coke 600.
We never got north of 10.
No.
What was the bet? $5?
It was $20 to win $5,000.
If they had both won.
Yep.
What was it? What was the thought process?
Damn the torpedoes.
I thought it was a pretty good bet,
yeah.
Especially for that winnings right there.
You have any thoughts about NASCAR at the halfway point, Nick?
I
know you're a big NASCAR guy.
I am. I'm a big NASCAR guy.
Big Austin Dillon.
He's gonna be a name if he's not already. I don't really have any comments, but maybe I'll make my trip down to Watkins Glen. I've always wanted to go. I have been at the track. Went on a field trip my senior year of college. Yeah, went down there, got a full experience, got a nice tour, and so I've been to the track, and but I've never been to a NASCAR race. Definitely on the bucket list. Definitely looks like a great time. Watkins Glen doesn't really interest me as much because it's hard to see the whole course. I don't think you can. You definitely can't. Maybe not that track in particular. The location of it, obviously great. But, maybe I would rather go to Martinsville or something like that. Something small and see the whole course. That would be cool to see the race. Yeah. Still waiting for them to add in bananas and green shells. But, it's maybe some traffic lights. Some yield signs. Is there a yield sign in pit road?
No.
There should be.
No.
Is there a speed limit in pit road?
Yes.
What is it?
Varies by track.
Interesting. Is there a speed limit on the track?
No.
Is there a... they should add cops. They should have a cop.
I mean, there are cops.
There should be
on pit road.
There should be a cop sitting around, especially at Watkins. Watkins, you can do so much. Have a cop just sit there. There's got to be a certain speed limit. They got to go by the cop.
Yeah, while you're at it, you want to just put deer on the track too?
Deer, old lady, traffic lights. Come on, that would make it so exciting.
Yeah, I've been in that at Watkins.
Have a circle
after the race.
Have a U-turn. Or, like one of those circles. The roundabouts. That would be cool. Maybe a jump. A ramp.
Stop.
I don't know.
Anyway, I think that signals the end of the show for the day.
Yep.
That was a fun one, Nick. Who you got shouting out today?
Shouting out my college friend, Blake Crawford. He's in town from Florida. Might go see him this weekend. Shout out Blake. He's a fantasy guy.
I know.
Hopefully see you soon. Shout out Blake. I believe this is episode 110.
You're going to ask about the hat? Or
what's the hat?
Genesee Brewery.
Oh, Genesee Brew House. That is a... is it the Finger Lakes? Genesee?
It's in Rochester. I'll count it.
Yeah, I think that's a top 10 brewery in the Finger Lakes.
It's probably number 1. But
Whoa. Grist Iron, I still love you.
I mean, Grist Iron's like my personal favorite. But
Wagner, Half Brewery, Two Goats, shout out. Still looking to get a sponsor. That'd be cool. But episode 110. There you go.
I am for sale. As always, everybody like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff to help out Finger Lakes One for wanting us to come on and do this. We will catch you here next week. Fresh Takes Podcast, Russo Felice. We out.